Welcome. My name is Melissa Brace. Welcome, all star seeds, indigos, crystalline children, rainbow children, light workers, healers, shamans, psychics, mediums, intuitives, sensitives, ministers, counselors, therapists, teachers, helpers. Welcome, all human beings. Um, we're bringing in the new year 2020. It is December 31st 2019, and we're getting ready to do channeling. I would have never thought in a million years that I would do this channeling, and I was really actually I was trying to evade doing anything today and yesterday because I was really kind of not feeling good. And I have been working and working and working, driving to different cities and doing group readings, which is my favorite thing. Thank you guys so much. I love this, and thank you for all the support. It's been an amazing, super weird last couple of years. But I really didn't feel well, and I've been having consistent, very brutal and degrading incoming messages from like boyfriends and stalking people and all kinds of stuff. So I was like, for the love of nachos, everyone. I think I just would like to sit down. One of my friends talked to me the other day and was asking about, he said, what do you call yourself? And I said, I don't know. I just used the word psychic medium because that's, people couldn't understand that. But that's just something that caught on years ago. They used to call me the angel lady years ago. And I said, I don't really care. I'm just a channeler medium. I don't even know. I'm a multidimensional being, love being. I don't know. And he said he was checking out stuff, some of the psychics and stuff on TV that maybe help police or do readings on TV, celebrity readings or whatever it is. And I said, yeah, those are pretty cool. And he said they all were saying, he's seen this several times where they said they needed to take a break and be sort of silent and take care of themselves because it's so intense being so empathic and experiencing some of the psychic things. Being that amped up is a little bit tough on the system, senses, all that kind of stuff. And he says, is that what you're doing? Is that what you do? And I said, yeah, I really need to take care of myself. I think I have often in my lifetimes is one of my things about myself is I burn the candle, man, and I keep going and I ignore terrible, horrible stuff and I just keep going and don't take care of myself very well. So I think I'm not the only psychic or medium or spiritual person that does that. So I was really like, just can everybody just leave me alone? Thank you for calling me some severe, horrifying names and degrading my body and on and on and on. I was just like, thanks. But that is stupid and I am going to have a little break, right? So then in the afternoon, I was just like overwhelmed by the messages and the need to channel today. So here's what we've got. I've got the Galactic Federation here today with Leonard Nimoy and David Bowie. So we're going to do some channeling, and I'm really excited as well because, get this, David Bowie and Leonard Nimoy, who is Spock, right? My favorite celebrity crushes of my lifetime, and that and Prince, but Prince is not here, so I'm not feeling him. So my favorite celebrity crushes are coming through from the other side today. I was not expecting that, nor have I ever asked for that. Interesting. But the Galactic Federation, which we would call Ashtar Command, some people call Ashtar Command Archangel Michael Command. It's just a perspective, a way of looking at it. And the Galactic Federation would be multidimensional beings that are here to support and love us in just really advanced ways. So they are the angels and the celestial beings, and sometimes people would call them extraterrestrials, but there are different races and types of beings coming together to help Earth. So some of you also know that I was just about to begin a UFO tour in Sedona and further on out, like nationally, or not like national tour, but like be able to go nationally. And when I was in Sedona, so then everything sort of broke and fell apart, and so, which I'm finding out now is like the biggest blessing ever. I wasn't in the right space at the right time with the right surroundings or circumstances, and I had things to do and to learn and all that kind of stuff. So but I sure do miss my home in Sedona area, and I miss my friends desperately more than we know. Anyway, back to the Galactic Federation. They are here, and so that, remember, that would be celestial beings in the multi-dimensions, and we're going to start with them. So you're saying greetings and many blessings, and that we are in a movement time where there's open portals, and they're saying give yourself a hug, like such a congratulations to all of us who are spiritual, non-spiritual, ancient alieny or not, whatever perspective we have, whatever background, view, belief system we have. Just know that the consciousness has risen so high, and each one of you, they just want to thank you for your service to humanity and to God. And they're saying, just remember, just re-speak this, how each one of us have been born here on purpose to work through many things. Some of us took on bigger circumstances or bigger painful experiences or losses or things like that than others, and they just want to say thank you for that, for your strength and your bravery and your willingness to bring in the new, not only the new year 2020, but bring in the newness as we lift up. So they're showing me there's a lot of grid work in place, and they're saying that this is because humanity's lifting up their consciousness. And so they're saying none of you are alone. Whether you like this kind of message or not, whether you have this kind of or that kind of perspective or not, just know that you are loved. And it's really is okay. It's time for you to be yourselves and be free to speak, be free to feel, be free. It's really touching me today, their message. So they're saying many of you have been really traumatized and abused, like I was saying. I'm so tired of being oppressed and suppressed and abused and things like that. And they're saying, you came here as understanding that these things would happen to some degree or another. And they're saying that that's the time is over, because we're implementing, I haven't heard this message before, implementing in the law of one, the unity consciousness, some of the rules. So what they're talking about, the grid work, would be the energetics of this structure of the earth and how things work. So that would be the matrix. So we've been running on a really gross, lower designed, lower matrix. And they're talking about it being set up into perfect order, back into the divine plan, which is supposed to be. So that's coming back into play and we will rise up and be living in this higher dimension, which is really good. Like, not even creepy, yucky, mean people would not want that. And they're saying that this is happening, so we just want you to know that you've done a really, really good job. It's not been all for nothing. It is worth it. You are worth it. And we thank you for your service to God or the light. So if you're a person that doesn't believe in God or doesn't like those words, just know that the light, love, the unity consciousness is pulling us up, and we will be able to learn how to function in these ways as the incoming eras of peace are here. They just really want me to say, I didn't say it very well enough. Thank you for being yourselves. You are more safe than you've ever been, and you're being watched by a lot of angelic beings, loved ones. You're being supported much more than you know. So be yourself. And many of you, most of you, he's saying, meaning Ashtar, most of you have felt stagnant, stabbed in the back, betrayed, degraded, tired, exhausted, sick, and lost. And just know that this part, even though we have more to come, like more integrating, more pieces, more fragments to pull back into ourselves, more healing to do. In some ways, it gets way better than this. And that you really aren't stagnant. You're not a failure. You didn't mess up. That wasn't the wrong choice. You're really right on track. And again, loved. It has all been worth it. Safe. You're safe. Keep asking for clarity, because everything is in alignment as we keep going forward. And don't forget to really just celebrate this earth life that you have, and all your relationships and all your directions and the good and the bad, because we came here at this time to incarnate, to live in these heavy bodies. And many of us really don't like it that much, or feel very uncomfortable. But they're saying, watch as the consciousness rises. We're going to learn how to be okay in our higher frequencies every day, and it has been worth it. Don't forget to set some time aside to take care of yourself, as we were talking about earlier. And some of you will feel really vital and excited, and some of you will be like me. I've had illness things come up, exhaustion, a little bit of panic, and things that I've experienced. And they're saying just know that it could go any way at any time, and these are just experiences fleeting through. It doesn't have to be permanent. As we rise up into higher consciousness and frequencies, this is cool. Leonard Nimoy is coming in. He's saying that I am, certainly representing starseeds today. As my role as Spock, at the time he's laughing. He's saying it was groovy, which is my favorite word ever. Groovy and advanced, and help people expand their thinking. And it was a little bit hard for some people in different spaces or places or of belief systems to, at the time when Spock and Star Trek came on the air, pardon me, it was a little bit tough for people to grasp sometimes. And he says they just made it wildly. He said we rolled with it as much as we could pull off. And he says, however, I'm just a person just like you. I made mistakes. And there were many things, he says, I could not see in my own life, just as each one of you. And he says, please don't be mean to yourself and hard on yourself. He's referring to me because I go, maybe I'm behind and I didn't do enough. And certainly those people told me I'm not good enough and didn't do enough, and, all that kind of stuff. And he said, those things are false. Sometimes those are mirrors. People say things that are, excuse me, I have a hair fuzz right in my face. Certainly other people mirror things back, and we learn from others sometimes, but those things are false. He had many things in his life, so as in his earth life, that he didn't see and he didn't look at. And I said, what do you mean? And he says that it is about, I didn't give enough time and attention to this, and I didn't know how to react better or connect better to certain relationships or experiences. And he says, I had a blessed experience, but I overworked sometimes. And he said, the grand adventure. He says, you should travel. I don't know why he's saying that right in the middle. Maybe all of us should travel. He says, so there were things in his own personal experience that he couldn't see, just like all of us are experiencing, that we cannot see in front of us, maybe about ourselves, about how, what we can do, what we can know. And he says those blindfolds are being uncovered, and that's going to be part of a theme like clarity, freedom, seeing some clarity of freedom and knowing ourselves. So these blindfolds that we all have about many things in our lives, all of us, he says are coming off. So he's like, I also want to congratulate all of you, every person, for doing such a great job in these times, as we are, in really shifting times. And this was a giant, huge starseed awakening. Now, he says, all of you don't have to certainly resonate with the idea that aliens are going to come talk to you. I'm sorry. They're making me laugh because it's funny. And they're saying, well, did you want that? I cannot tell you. In readings, this is just for me. In many readings over the years, and because I'm very easy to connect with many multidimensional layers, it's just easy for me. I think I just have been working on this for many lifetimes. And it was part of my job here in this lifetime. But many people have asked me, when are they going to come, or is the invasion coming, as far as like the UFOs and things like that. And I don't have that perspective. I appreciate that perspective. I'm not making fun of it at all. And some people do have UFOs land in their yard, but they come, these multi-dimensions come in different ways. Do they all need giant motherships? No, they don't. Do they all need that to come visit us? So Leonard Nimoy and Ashtar Command is still here, the Galactic Federation of Light, and many different types of beings in that grouping are saying that they don't always need to come in that most exciting of ways. And so they're saying, the reason I was laughing is because they said, remember, every, in the military can tell you this, many aviator type people, if you go really high and really fast, there's radiation in the atmosphere. And so if you had UFOs landing in your yard all the time, there could be a lot of radiation, which our human bodies are not really great with quite yet. So we'll learn how to integrate that upcoming. Yes, disclosure pieces are coming. And everybody everywhere really kind of knows that there's a lot more going on around us than we would expect. And it's not all about dark things or alien invasions and things like that, but they can come to us, and many of them, all of us know them, these celestial beings. So many of them come in different ways, and that would be as a visitation or an energy, just a moment and connection. Because we are all in unity consciousness, we are able to speak in that way, is what they're saying. So we don't need UFOs all the time. However, there's some stuff coming up for UFO things in the sky. So that's kind of fun to hear. And so Spock, or Leonard Nimoy, says, I just want to say congratulations, good job, starseeds, and thank you for being yourselves. So the weird ones, and he said, so think about it, all the Star Trek and the sci-fi conventions he's been to, I'm sure, which are hundreds. He says those are the people that people sometimes point out or make fun of, or such. However, they do get jobs on Ancient Aliens TV show and become the leaders in things as well. So they're saying that if you weren't yourselves, which someone else might call weird, someone might call normal, then we stay hidden and our blindfolds stay onto ourselves. So it's time, through this portal we're going through, he's saying that many of us are having more of an awakening, and he's saying, as I always say, all of us who are very advanced or awakened, we continue to go through awakenings. It's not easy every day. We don't go, oh, our karma's just done and we're perfect. And if someone else is telling you that, stay away, because you might want to, because they might take your authority. But it's not that we don't have good teachers and leaders. It's just that they wouldn't be self-righteous as much to say they are perfect and you are not. And one of the messages, not only from the Galactic Federation of Light today and Leonard Nimoy, is that you are perfect. And no one's behind. You are loved. There are blindfolds coming off of, so we can see our next steps in the next days and the weeks and months. And we are all on track as we are supposed to be. We are who we are supposed to be. And it's okay to share and express a little bit of you. It's like part of the blindfolds, and part of the things that he was showing me was a little bit like, almost like restraints. So all of us in some way, we're oppressed, suppressed, enslaved to this, like the system of the world. And so some of those, not only blindfolds, where we're going to recognize and have realizations of what really is true and what we truly want as a humanity, as communities, as people, but as they connect us into unity consciousness piece by piece, we start following the laws of that. And that would be, it would just be a bad choice to harm people and, do anything but love one another and see others as equal. All of the restraints, the enslavements to old ideas, beliefs, systems, things like that are going to continue to break free, as well as our blindfolds, and watch for clarity is what they're saying. Like, experience clarity. And they are saying it again. Please be really kind to yourselves. Take some time if you need it. Boundaries, they're saying the boundaries, and I said that's a hard one for me sometimes still. Being too nice, not enough, doormat, gets horrible. I think I've had that experience long enough. For the love of nachos, I've had that experience long enough. The boundary thing. They're saying, watch, you've done really good. Sometimes we cannot certainly judge our neighbor because of how they perceive things or what they've gone through. Just be kind to yourself and love yourself, and just know that there's just enormous self-love, super cool, beautiful light energy coming in. So just, no matter where you're at, what you're doing, how you feel about the processes of life, it's okay to say yes. Let the light come in me. I love myself. I want to shine. David Bowie says, yep, it's time to shine. Stardust and starseeds. They're all nodding their head yes. Self-love. You guys have been doing so great, is what he's saying. He said, sometimes in my life I had to shut down because life was overwhelming. And he said, all of us who are being channeled, we are not always perfect. So we're not coming in as saying we're so advanced and enlightened and ascended, and your other loved ones or you guys are not, because they were famous. And he's saying, remember, we're part of unity consciousness. I'm not just perfect. I'm not just ascended because I'm David Bowie and I was famous, but because we are all connected. So just know that you're all doing good. He said he had anxiety and things were uncomfortable, and he's saying travel, go. It's like go to Japan, go to Greece. That's what he's saying. I don't know if that could be for all of us, if we all should go to Japan and Greece, but I'm in. And he says, so my expansion and my willingness to try to be myself, it was met with many hard days and painful days, he says. So I also had blindfolds that in my lifetime sometimes got to come free. And he's funny. He's kind of quick, funny. And he says, so I'm peculiar looking in a way. And he said, so I got to play many roles in movies and things like that. But, I was a human being. I'm just a guy. And I just want you to know that all of you are correct on your path. And we don't all have to be famous, but it is time for you to share who you are and what you are with the world and the people around you. And if people around you are being degrading and trying to harm you and take everything you have, then they're gone. And it's really grateful because there are great people that will be really, really happy to know you. And so he's bringing in like this picture of connections in the world where you find your soul tribes and soul families. And so the Galactic Federation of Light is showing this on a bigger level, and we'll also show you our star families so there are many layers of pure love, unconditional love, connections, family, friends, loved ones in different ways that you will feel, know, and be able to open your eyes to in these next years. So he's really excited to bring this. He says this sometimes in our lifetimes, if you're a person at all, this duality and this experience sometimes just feels alone and lonely and separate. He says some of those pieces are being etched out of the matrix and it's crumbling. And so watch as we are connected and unified and rise up. He says you belong, you know where you belong somewhere else. He's saying this, not that I'm saying you don't belong there. It's like a warning or anything like that. It's more like you know where you belong because you're being, many of us are being called through our hearts, just like we miss home. And he says, so you are home. So just like the heavens, many years, he's saying, just like you've been a medium for many years and you told many people. So the heavens, after people are crossed over, are right here. They're just vibrating at a different frequency and they're integrated in different ways. They're in a more unity consciousness. And so, and we're not talking about paranormal ghosts or anything like that. We're talking about loved ones crossing over. And he said they're just right there. And he says, so is every soul tribe, soul family, God, every peace spark. And in these next months, this portal we're going through is opening our eyes to these connections that are bringing us closer together to our soul family, soul tribes, and where we belong. Because I've been whining. They might be just helping me out a little bit because I've been whining like, I don't belong here. That's what I like to be resistant and, whine a little bit here and there and gripe. And so they're answering my heart. They're answering my prayers. Like, where do I belong? When can I go home? To my right places and people and spaces. And they're saying it is so. And it is now. And just know you're never separate from the love that you are. And if we can focus and remember to function out of that, the bad things, the traumas and the things like that, those pains will be integrated and balanced back into alignment, into wholeness, and cannot harm us anymore. And thank you. He says, good job. He's singing. He has David Bowie. Come on, David Bowie. And he's like, I'm afraid of Americans, which is one of his songs. And he sings so watches the politics. Because I also go, I'm kind of embarrassed at our politics and the behavior of people who are supposed to be in leadership. No, I'm not just talking about Americans' politics. I'm talking about everyone. He says, it's all guys. It's all an illusion. And he says, watch. He says to unfold the old lower matrix. This is David Bowie saying this. So we got the inverted matrix, which is backwards, wrong. Darkness took over. That's what we would say. To unfold each piece of that, which they know is coming. Watch it play out like big fireworks. And he says, just know that everybody is coming into alignment of truth, where in unity consciousness, where we will see in not only personal ways, in our personal relationships and jobs and careers and our families and our communications, our texts, but we will see in really big ways, obvious ways to change and evolve, so that we come into unity and harmonize and really realize that truly people are equal, and it's not just some that should have some cash or some medical or whatever it is. And he says, watch this quickly, things are going to move along quickly, so and watch for some good stuff in the sky, like some changes. He says some stardust has been coming to all of us, stardust. And I'm like, okay. Because he was Ziggy Stardust, right? I don't really know too much about Leonard Nimoy or David Bowie, their regular lives, but David Bowie's very kind energy. And he says he was hurt and also traumatized several times. He's not a weakling. In fact, he's very strong, but he's very what do you call it, where he's not like, look at me, humble. He's very humble. He has very much kindness, and he appreciated his he got to express through his music and how he looked and all these things, and how he got to experience meeting so many different kinds of people. And he says, my family, that was the most important thing. But it took him a long time to learn some of the things that he learned. And Leonard Nimoy is saying, yes, that's what I was trying to say also. It was, all of us have lessons, growth, learning. So it's not that we were perfect, or we, as channeled famous people, are saying we are perfect, except that you are perfect who you are. You have not failed, you're not behind, and you're loved. And watch as you'll be clear and having clarity come up in this next weeks and months and years. He says it's like brand new time. And he's saying all the basic things that we know, each one of us, implement them in the new way, and know that there's momentum coming where we will feel less stagnant and less blocked and less broken and less, just stopped in our tracks, because some of us are just so tired. And he says, watch as the movement starts moving in these next months and weeks. And remember, if you are tired, if you want to totally do something else, if you want to leave tomorrow, and drive to a different state and sit by the water at a lake in, Minnesota, go ahead and do it, because now's the time where you're going to start feeling your manifestation and creation, your creation with the universe kicking in. Love one another. David Bowie's like, yeah, man, love one another. And they are all saying, watch in your own ways, in your own perspectives, the colors and the skies shift a little bit. And he says, it's time to come back home to your friends, your soul tribe, in your body here on earth. So as we nurture this awakening and ascending planet, all of creation is rising up in frequency. So they're saying just really good job, and they celebrate each one of us, whether we are the ugly ones, or the fat ones, or the thin ones, or the tall ones, or the short ones. I would call that a lot today. That word, a lot. The rich ones or the poor ones, the famous ones or non-famous ones. You are all exactly who you're supposed to be and loved, and it's coming. Embrace each other and embrace the clarity and the truth inside of you, and high five. They're all doing the high five, and they're saying you're much protected, and much peace and love and abundance and creativity and joy and laughter and love and support and community and harmony to all. So they're all blessing you, all of us. And I say thank you. Frequency, it's just the frequency. That's what they're doing. Well, that's not what I was planning today, but I'm very grateful for it, and I hope there were some good messages or some pieces that make sense or are helpful. Thank you all. I'll see you soon. I love you all.